you know, you have had a phenomenal career and you have grown through the ranks of ISRO and you had multiple things you did before joining ISRO. Very, very fascinating journey that you've had. So tell us something about what ISRO means to you and what you think the potential of ISRO is and how we have under-leveraged or over-leveraged ISRO at this point in time. It works, yeah. It works.
You all know the Indian space program was started almost 63 years back. 1962, the program was started. And 1963, November 21st was the major milestone for us. We had the first tiny rocket launch from Indian soil. And you know who built and gave us a tiny rocket? The tiny rocket was donated by none other than US, a small rocket. And the payload called a sodium vapor lamp that was again donated by France. And the entire thing was assembled in Indian soil and launched. That time, if you see, we were just 70 years behind advanced countries. From that humble beginning, we moved to the next step. 50 years back, August 1st, 1975 was another important, remarkable area in India. For the first time, a mass communication was demonstrated, keeping 2,400 television sets in 6 states of India, 2,400 villages, and the satellite signal was required to demonstrate mass communication. Again, the satellite signal was given by ATS-6 satellite of USA. And ISRO was formed 1969, August 15. That time, already Yuri Gagarin in 1961 itself, he was sent to space, brought back safely. 1969 was a very important year. Scientifically, man landed on the moon and came back. From that humble starting, this year, July 30th was another important achievement for ISRO. ISRO, NASA together, we have built a satellite. And NASA has made a payload called L-band synthetic aperture radar payload with a 12-meter unfurlable antenna, investing 10,300 crore. And ISRO made a similar payload. And the entire satellite was built in India by Indians. And it was placed in orbit successfully using our own rocket called Mark II rocket. So that is the growth of ISRO. Now, today, to be frank, for demonstrating the capability of satellite technology or satellite usage, we used to jovially tell, better to switch off all satellites for 4 hours evening. Then nothing will happen, no transaction, no mobile connectivity, and border safety, everything will be in trouble. No telecommunication, television broadcasting, everything will come to a standstill. So that is the place we have reached. And in fact, Indian space program is doing a lot of service to the common man of Bharat.
No, that's wonderful that not many people realize that the dependence of our day-to-day lives on the satellites and organizations like ISRO is not something which most people understand. And I'm glad that you pointed it out. Now, so India, and especially ISRO, under your leadership, in your predecessor's leadership, and so on and so forth, made so much of foray into whether it is Chandrayaan, Mangalyaan, Aditya L1, all of that. So as we sort of look beyond Mars and even the Kuiper belt that you've been working on, what is your vision, if you may? Our role in deep tech exploration. If you look at in space, nothing is in days. It takes years for you to build. So if you look at next 2 decades and say that where is that, what should be India's aspiration? What should be India's vision? And where should we be heading towards? Are we making more rockets or, we explore more stuff? What do you think?
No, actually, the space program is for serving the common people of this country using the advanced space technology. So to do this, we need to develop launch vehicles, satellites, and ground segments. So all the 3 has to develop together. Now, to your specific question, for the next 20 years or 25 years, when you talk about deep space missions.
Right.
Number one, in the scientific missions today, we have done a lot of achievements. First, let me address that and come back to your second question. Now, in terms of achievements, when we started the space program, I don't know how many of you are aware, the small, tiny rockets, after making the rockets, it used to be moved by bicycles. Bicycles, not new bicycles, old bicycles. It used to be tied and moved. And here, in Bangalore city, the satellite program was initiated by none other than Professor U.R. Rao. Then for a experiment, the Apple satellite, first communication satellite was moved in Bangalore city by bullock cart. And from that bicycle era and bullock cart, today, we are number one in number of places. For example, at least scientific missions, we have to say, the Chandrayaan 1 found water molecule on the moon. And India and USA together accomplished this, and every Indian is made proud of that mission. And first time finding water molecule. And now we had the next scientific mission, Mars orbiter mission. How many of you are aware the total distance you have to travel? If you right away put the distance, it will be something around 40 crore kilometer. Otherwise, the elliptical path you have to travel 69 crore kilometer. And you, with the trigonometry, you can do small calculation. If you go with 0.1 degree error, we cannot reach Mars. We will be reaching some other place. And we have traveled, and we are so tensed. Almost 1 year we have to travel, 297 days. Then after that, we have to capture. And by starting a engine after 295 days. Please understand, when some of you go on vacation and come back after 2 or 2.5 months and start your car, then you will understand what will happen to the car or bike. And same case with us, we were there. Our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji is in the first floor. And we have developed the engine system, and we have to start after 295 days. If it is not starting, what will happen? This will go somewhere. And then you can understand what type of anxiety and what type of excitement, what type of tension. And it perfectly worked. Until today, India is the only country and first country succeeded Mars orbiter mission in the first attempt. And no other country has done in the first attempt. And Chandrayaan 2, it was supposed to be a soft landing mission, but it could not be soft landed.
Right.
But that much only is known to general people. But very important thing I want to tell. In fact, 2 points I want to tell on Chandrayaan 2. One is, we have placed a camera in the moon's orbit called on-orbiter high-resolution camera. Who is having the best camera in the moon orbit today? Any answer? Or any guess? Hey, why don't you be a little louder? You have some doubt or what? India is having the best camera in the moon orbit, 32 centimeter resolution. And you can Google the best photographs of moon belongs to Indians, and we are sharing with a lot of countries. And Chandrayaan 3, 23rd August 2023 is a historical day. And till today 4 nations have soft landed on the moon. And Chandrayaan 3 soft landed near South Pole of Moon, and India is the first country until today, only country successfully soft landed near South Pole of Moon, and we have made every Indian proud. And Chandrayaan 2, when there was a small setback, a national level committee was constituted with 10 members. And generally whenever Government of India office order is written, at the last line, 1 or 2 lines will be their standard format. And the last line shows, within 30 days, the committee will go through the entire data and pinpoint the reason for setback of the Chandrayaan 2 and give necessary recommendations for the successful Chandrayaan 3 launch. And this is generally it is a 6 months to 1 year work. So this office order, when it was given to me, I asked our chairman, Dr. Sivan that time, sir, what is this 1 month time? That's what Prime Minister wants. Then once Prime Minister wants, we respect, And then I told my team, better we'll work. Don't worry about the time. Let us work every day, till we feel sleep, we'll work. Whenever we are tired or feel sleep, we'll go to bed. Then come back. But one condition I put, till we submit the report, none of the members should leave Bangalore. And everybody should be in the office. and some 400, 500 people worked. I want to tell, 5 hours before the deadline, we submitted 1100-page report with 107 recommendations. 5 hours before the deadline.
It sounds more difficult than the launching of the rocket.
Then, but I want to tell, almost 300, 400 people had to work, and at least the team members were average sleep was only 3 to 3.5 hours per day. And then finally, today implementing everything and doing a lot of things, we have succeeded Chandrayaan 3. I was so blessed to be the national president for that committee. Now, Aditya alone, how many of you are aware, I don't know. India is the 4th country which has built Aditya L1. Yes, a satellite to study the sun. And you should Google and find out, we have put almost 14 terabit data in the open domain. And so much scientific data is coming out. And so we are one among 4 countries having capability, and today we are putting the data in the site.
But before you go to Aditya L1, I want to stop you at the Chandrayaan 2 itself and say that, you know, these setbacks that you mentioned, it's just, I honestly believe that we learn more from our failures than success. So in the setback that you mentioned, do you see that ISRO fundamentally changed the way it operated? You know, what was the learnings? How did you really apply all of that in Chandrayaan 3? That will be very useful.
Actually, see, we have got lot of setbacks. We don't consider, I was very carefully using a word called setback, you know. I never told it is a failure. No failure. In a R&D activity like this, we don't consider anything as a failure. Everything is a great learning.
Absolutely.
And we have become highly knowledgeable, matured in learning. And we take it like that. And we move forward. And not only Chandrayaan 2, there were, in the initial phase, rockets used to fail a lot of time. And you know, there is a name, our first satellite launch vehicle is called SLV-3. I don't know, have you heard about SLV-3?
Yes.
ASLV. And there is also a nickname for that. First, there was a failure, and people gave a name called Sea Landing Vehicle. Because it could not accomplish its mission. Then we moved to the second rocket called ASLV, and we had some setbacks. And ASLV people used to call sometime always Sea Landing Vehicle. But then it was a great learning from these 2 vehicles, and today the last Bahubali rocket Mark 3, 7 launches, all 7 successful launches. Wonderful. And placing Chandrayaan 2, Chandrayaan 3, all the things in the orbit. For your first question, the next 20 years interplanetary thing, we have got lot of target set. We are having accomplished Chandrayaan 3, we are going to have a Chandrayaan 4 mission. Chandrayaan 3 was a soft landing mission. Chandrayaan 4, we are going to soft land and take sample and bring back. So it's a sample return mission. Wonderful. And you know, there is a saying, strength respects to strength. When Chandrayaan 3 was successful, Japan wanted to collaborate with us for a Chandrayaan mission. So today, you know, last week Honorable Prime Minister was in Japan, and he announced the LUPEX mission or Chandrayaan 5 mission. So both the countries together, we are going to develop that. Already project is approved. We are working on this Chandrayaan 5 mission. Between Chandrayaan 3 and Chandrayaan 5, I will tell you the difference. Chandrayaan 3, we landed 1,600 kg on the moon. Here, 6,800 kg will be landing. And Chandrayaan 3, we had a rover which came out, it was 25 kg. Here, we are building a 350 kg rover. And Chandrayaan 3 worked for 14 days. Here, this will work for 100 days. So I think you can understand that is the work what is going on.
Yeah, phenomenal.
We are going to have a Mars lander mission and a Venus orbiter mission. And this year, already I have declared that it's a year of Gaganyaan. And under the guidance of Honorable Prime Minister, we are working. First uncrewed human space flight is going to take off from Indian soil. By December, we have set the target. And in that, we are going to send a half-humanoid called a Biomitra. A woman humanoid is going to be sent. It is going to do all the functions of human being. And followed by 2 more missions next year. And 2027, we are going to have the first crewed mission. Indian will fly in Indian rocket. That is targeted in 2027.
Wow. That's
and
not
further,
at all.
lot of things are set. Honorable Prime Minister has given a lot of roadmap. Number 1, by 2035, we'll have our own space station. And it is a 5-module construction. First module will be placed in orbit by 2028.
Excellent.
And from this humble rocket, I mean the bicycle era, and that bullock cart
Bullock cart era, that's what I was
and
going to say.
gradually we are going. And now Prime Minister has given a direction to work on a mission to land man on the moon, Indian on the moon, and bring back safely. This work is initiated, just initiated. Projects are.
But why moon? I mean, I think we have done the man on the moon and the bringing back to safe. US has done several years ago. Why would we do that now as opposed to why can't you learn somewhere else? I don't know.
A very good question you asked. So US has done 1969, am I right?
Right, 69, yes.
I think the youngsters may not understand, but you can easily understand.
57, yeah, I was born.
And you are in the age.
I'm very young, Mr. Narayan. I'm very young.
Yes, we are all young. Because when India got independence, why I am telling we are all young, I will tell you. First, let me justify that statement and move forward. When India got independence, what is the average life of Indians? Any guesswork? Huh? It was 32 years. And, there were deadly diseases. And today, just 9 weeks back, average life of healthy Indian has become 72 years. So thereby, when we celebrate 100 years of independence, healthy life of Indians are going to become 100. Thereby, we are all so young. So let us accept.
Thank you for the reassurance. I must
Let us
say,
accept that. Yeah.
yeah. But you didn't answer the question. So you're saying why moon now? They've done it in 1969,
No,
but
you
why
are
are
right.
they doing it 57 years later?
No, see, first of all, when we talk about this question, we should understand 1947, when we got independence, 97.5% people were below the poverty line. You know what is the meaning of poverty line? I don't know. To explain, I can explain physically, then you can understand. I am from a village in Kanyakumari district of Tamil Nadu. In early 70s, in my village, 70% people were taking food only one time per day. And most of the villages, this was the situation. That is the meaning of poverty. And when we got independence, only 12% people were literate. And there was no IIT, no IIM, no health sector, nothing, no infrastructure development. I think our friend, sometime back, he talked about that lot of traffic jams, so many things. In 1947, where it was. And no power. So what was our priority at that point of time? 1960s. What was our priority? How to feed our citizens? How to improve the quality of life? How to build better schools, better colleges, better health care? So at that point of time, if somebody is talking about sending man to moon in India, how the society will look at him. Even our father of Indian space program, Sarabhai, when he started the Indian space program in 1962, very senior people questioned what for this is required. Why Sarabhai era? I think I joined ISRO 41 years back, 1980.
Dr. Kalam's era in some sense. No?
Just Kalam left from ISRO, so I am joining in the same group, what was started by Kalam.
Yeah.
And before that, I was working in an organization called BHL. I think you all know. BHL was a very lead organization. Honestly speaking, 90% of my relatives and friends, they were telling, don't join ISRO. What for this kind of organization is required for this country? This was the thinking at that point of time. So from that, after demonstrating minimum requirement, minimum applications, today we have started this program. That is the reason for this gap. So we should, whenever we compare with the developed countries, we should really be little sensitive. We should always think about our country at that point of time. 1969 when ISRO was started, and where economically we are standing, where health sector we are there, where infrastructure we are having, and to make a phone call from Bangalore to Delhi in 1969, what is involved? Have you gone to any trunk booth and made any phone call?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, then you understand, you go to the trunk booth and big queue will be there, and you have to make a phone call, and after 2 hours only you will get the connection. And I had the experience, you get the connection, and sometimes it gets disconnected, then all friends will tell, dear brother, please come back in the queue. Then you have to come back in the queue, and then all these things happened. And there was a time, have you any time gone to railway station to receive any of your relatives?
I have, very much.
You have gone, when? Recent days or earlier days?
No, of course, earlier.
Earlier days. No, earlier days I will tell you the story. Say, if somebody is coming, You will get in the card or inland letter one letter. No mobile, that time, no phone connection.
Correct.
And you will get some 1 week before you will get somebody's coming. So you go to the railway station. After going to the railway station only, the railway department will gradually release the quota. First they will tell train is 1.5 hours late. Okay, what to do? You cannot come back, sit there. After close to 1.5 hours, another 1 hour late. And this will happen. And today, is it the situation? 8,700 trains you are connected real time. You can Google when the train will come, what time you have to go, so you go.
Absolutely.
And 35 years back, have you seen Chitragar program?
Yes.
You have seen. Then I think I can talk to you in a better language.
I'm going to keep all these questions away. He's going to interview me. Okay.
So 35 years back, the Chitragar program, I think youngsters will not understand the meaning of Chitragar. But Chitragar means a lot of things for us. And weekly 5 songs. Am I right?
Yes. And the 6th song is always a bonus.
It is a bonus.
Yes.
And sometime, if you miss that song, you have to wait for 1 week.
1 more week. Yes, yeah.
Okay. That is the story. Now, I will tell you one live example of me. Then you will understand. The telecommunication, how we have grown. I told simple language that trunk both the story. It was 1993. I completed my MTech from IIT Kharagpur with first rank in 1990 January.
Congratulations.
And, so I am working in ISRO. And 1993, I was sent for the first time to Russia, first foreign trip. I think the youngsters, when you get the opportunity first time to go abroad, what type of excitement will be there. Definitely. And that was my second flight travel. Second flight travel is so exciting, So I took the flight from Trivandrum. My father, my village is not that developed village. He came from Kanyakumari, 80 kilometers. He was in airport seeing me off. So got into the flight. The second time flight travel, I don't know how many youngsters, second time, second time, how much enjoyment will be there, Not like today's. Those days to see the flight, we have gone, when I was studying 10th standard, I have gone and waited 4 hours to see the aircraft. That was the era, okay? And second time, so excited. And in the flight, what was happening? The flight was to Bombay, walking in between and sitting this seat, that seat. So much enjoyment. And one good thing happened. After the flight reached Bombay, flight was not landing. And it is rotary. I'm so happy because the flight is not landing. And almost 30 minutes, myself along with my friends, we were enjoying. My God, let it not land. Okay, we were enjoying, going around. But only thing, we were told after that, nowadays you all are, every day you are, as the president, you are sitting only in the 5-star hotel. But
that is actually part of the job description. Sit in the 5-star hotel. Yeah?
So for me, for us, 10 of us, that was the first time they told after landing there, we will be taken to a 5-star hotel. Night we will be in the 5-star hotel. Next day, flight to Moscow. So we were dreaming how to go to the 5-star hotel, which is the 5-star hotel. Now, okay, after the flight landed, when we came out of the aircraft, so many security people, they told you cannot go out. Everybody was taken to some room, one room, locked. And we told what these fellows are doing. The 5-star hotel food is waiting for us and they are locking here. Then we were asking when we will be allowed to go. We are young boys, so much excitement. They were telling, please be there. When we were inside, a couple of TVs were there. When we saw the TV, there was a bomb blast happening. Where is the bomb blast? Adjacent buildings. And that was the Bombay serial bomb blast today.
Yeah.
Then we were thinking, okay, my God, the 5-star enjoyment is out. Now we are in the bomb blast area. Finally, we missed that opportunity.
Oh, so you couldn't go to Russia?
Next day morning, direct flight to Moscow. Went to Moscow. Okay, enjoyed a little bit. Little bit unhappiness, we could not go to 5-star hotel, that we forget. But reached and enjoyed. But nowadays I don't enjoy 5-star hotel. I go and stay in our hostel. And okay, reached there. Then wrote a letter to my parents that I have reached safely. Because you can ask why you have not made a phone call. There is no phone connection in my village and 5-kilometer radius, no phone connection. So I cannot make a phone call. And back in India, My father, when he went back from Trivandrum to Kanyakumari, he came to know through the radio messages when we were landing, same time bomb blast was happening, lot of people lost their life. And he is not that educated to understand it and get in connection with me. And 10 days my house was in fully sorrow mood. Why my house? One third of the village was also in the sorrow mood. Whether I am alive or I have reached or what happened, and no communication. And after 11 days only when the letter came, my mother, my father, everybody got a second birth and they were enjoying. Today, please understand, if my daughter is going from house to Delhi, before she reaches, at least some 20 messages will come. Mummy, I have reached the airport. Mummy, I have boarded the flight. Mummy, I am landing in Delhi. If she is not calling, my wife will be calling 10 times.
Correct.
And that is the type of telecommunication revolution what has happened. So youngsters will not understand. Somebody is going abroad 10 months I was in abroad. Yeah. Can you guess how many times I have talked with my parents over phone?
0.
Perfectly over.
I'm learning, sir. I'm truly learning.
So this is the revolution in the telecommunication what has happened.
No, I mean, I think you take it to one step further. Now, I think from today, Air India is also now offering for domestic flights in-flight Wi-Fi, so that you not only have to say I've boarded, we can also say I'm flying, I'm landing. All of that can still be possible. But I want to bring us back to the topic that we were on. The deep space missions, which you are very intimately familiar with. It is fraught with a lot of challenges, and I'm sure you deal with these challenges, whether it is, planning to execution, funding availability, extreme distances that you deal with. You're talking about distances of, 49,000, kilometers and 49,000 million kilometers and so on and so forth. Radiation exposure, you talked about energy constraint. Which of all of these stuff, which Dr. Narayanan, you see as the hardest nut for India to crack? What is the hardest problem? I know everything is hard, and relative to what the work that we do, whatever you do, everything is going to be hard. But is there something which you say, oh my goodness, this is the most difficult problem that we deal with?
See, it is not one problem. There are multiple problems. Number one, travel. To travel, you need propulsion systems. Now, propulsion system, I think those engineering people dealing with automobile, you will understand. In Bangalore, when I was traveling, what was my average speed? Only 60 km per hour. So my car can go with 120 km per hour maximum.
You're doing 60 kilometers per hour in Bangalore? Yep. Which road did you travel? We all do 6 kilometers per hour.
6 kilometers. Then I have done better job, maybe because of lunch time. And to go to moon, or to land, for example, we did the Chandrayaan 3 mission.
Right.
To place Chandrayaan 3 in the orbit, what is the speed at which we have to give, the velocity, what is the velocity we have to give? Can you guess? Car goes with 100 km per hour.
2,000 kilometers, 2,000 kilometers.
It is 37,000 km per hour velocity has to be given. And we need to develop propulsion system for that. The propulsion systems are like car engines only, rocket engine only. Rocket engines of that capability you have to develop. So when you talk about interplanetary missions, number one, the propulsion system is one of the complex what has to be solved. Second thing is communication. When you talk about that type of deep space, what is the type of distance, so much distance. Even we went to Mars, and direct distance is something around 40 crore kilometer. And then we have established an antenna, 32-meter diameter antenna. A deep space network we have to establish, and then we have to get the signal. Now when you go further, other interplanetary travels, then the communication links, this is another important thing. And radiation effect.
Correct.
And another important thing. And when you travel this type of speed, high speed, the effect of thermal effect. There are some human space flight we lost because of one silicon tile getting a crack, and immediately heat flux goes and the entire thing gets spoiled. So then thermal system. Then the control systems. So if you have to go from one place to another place, it is not like on road, simply the driver knows the place and you go. Here you are going and some reference is required. We have to have some star sensor, then moons and sun sensors for reference. Those days probably would have heard, people going for fishing in the sea. What is their reference? They keep some stars and they move.
Yeah.
Another thing only here also. Then you need lot of inertial systems to go to the right place. And right place in here you can go with the car and even little more petrol consumption, no problem. There everything is accounted. If you go in a wrong route, then you cannot come back. So you will be in halfway only. So like that, lot of challenges, lot of development.
No, totally agree. I think this is one of the, there is no, I mean, we even say, when we get into difficulty, we say, this is not rocket science, right? So because of the fact that, you're dealing with rocket science, so you can't say that. But I'm saying, switching gears and then looking at what is, taking these lessons that you kind of mentioned about space and what ISRO does, a little bit bring it home to closer to the work that we all do in engineering, we all do in ER&D and so on and so forth. Frugal innovation comes to my mind. Frugal innovation is something which, as a concept, if you recall, India started with, even when you looked at, I had worked closely with Mr. Ratan Tata during my Tata days. And, he sort of conceived this whole, nano as the
Nano
frugal
car.
innovation. Yeah, and then really didn't go too far, and maybe it was a little bit ahead of time or whatever it is, right? So that was supposed to be an example of a frugal innovation. And then you showed it, ISRO showed it as a frugal innovation when we did the launch with the shortest amount that you spent on the mission itself. I think it was by far, by a proportion which is maybe 1%, of what the other countries spend on some of this mission. So is that doing more with less is probably your philosophy in many ways. So when you look at this moving forward, would that continue for us to get this advantage of doing a lot more with a lot less? Or you think it's going to change a little bit? We also have to start spending a lot more than what we are spending today.
No, let me catch this word, doing more with less. And of course, the innovative approaches. So I would like to give an example so that you will understand. Otherwise, if I talk all high-funda stuff, half of the thing will not go in the mind of people. For the rocket program, for the space program, to place a satellite or to send a human being to the space, what is required is rocket engines. And one of the best engines available as on date is the cryogenic rocket engines.
Correct.
Cryogenic rocket engines, we use liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen as the propellant. And 5 countries had this technology. And when we were starting the program, we were looking for somebody to support. And there is a fantastic word called the MTCR. MTCR. And actually, for the missile program, this cryogenic cannot be used. But people used this term and denied the technology to India. And why it was denied? If this rocket engine is not developed, cryogenic rocket engine is not developed, Indian space program will be always in the second grade only. You cannot come in the front line. And what happened, I will tell you. Finally, we had a great insult. We have somebody tried to support Russia. I told I went for that one,
Yes.
skipping that 5-star hotel business.
Correct.
And then one day we were thrown out of the country. We went for studying something and we were thrown out. And after coming back, we started. Today, I want to tell to this august audience, a technology which was denied to India, 3 propulsion systems Indians have developed for Indian space program, and we are one among 6 countries in the world having that technology. And not only that, first system, we were a little bit using others' data. Second system for the Mark 3 vehicle you may be seeing, which is placing the Chandrayaan 2, Chandrayaan 3, and it is going to take human being to the space. And why human being to the space? Another 3 months we are going to place a 6,500 kg American satellite on commercial basis from India. That rocket is going to be used. For that we are developing this cryogenic technology. And I was the 3rd project director. Sorry, I was the 4th project director. Towards the end, almost 5-6 years, I was the project director. We set the following targets. We want to be low-cost development game. We want to ensure low cost, we are developing, and we want to set world records. I will tell you today we have made 3 world records in that development. First world record is, generally people make 10 cryogenic engines, then only they go for the flight. And minimum thing is 4 engines. One of the country has done 4 engines. We set a target, only 3 engines will realize, and the 3rd engine will fly. You know why the target was set? When you sit in this type of place, we should not forget from the place where we are coming, our villages, what is happening economically, how we have come. So we think economically. So in order to reduce the cost, we set only a target of 3. So we are the only country, first country, which has succeeded cryogenic technology with only 3 engines. We are having 1 world record. Second world record, from the development test to flight, people generally take 6 years, other countries. And the minimum time taken by any other country was 34 months. Thanks to Dr. Radhakrishnan sir, our former chairman, and Kiran Kumar sir, they set a target of 24 months. And I was the project director. And we have succeeded in 28 months, and we are having number 2 world record in that development. And all other countries, even though they were in front of us, they have taken more time. Another important world record I want to tell. So before flying, we use in that engine 5,000 kg of liquid hydrogen and 23,000 kg of liquid oxygen. You know, hydrogen, have you heard about hydrogen bomb?
Yes.
You heard. The hydrogen, if you use properly and smart way, it will work as a fuel. If you don't handle properly, it will become a hydrogen bomb. Then the loss is so much. We built a test stand spending 1,100 crore. Money is not that great, but 10 years we took to build. So we are going to do experiment in that. Generally, what people do is they don't play with hydrogen too much. They do lot of experiment, spend crores of rupees, then only they authorize the hot firing. We debated, discussed, and thanks to Dr. Kiran Kumar, our former chairman, I think you all may be knowing, one of the great person. I put up a proposal. We will not do any experiment because we have to spend lot of money and lot of time it will take. He believed the team and authorized. And today we have succeeded. Other countries, average time they take 10 months to do this experiment. India completed in 34 days, and we are having number 1 position. And this world record, in my opinion, cannot be broken next 34 years by any other country. Because nobody is going to take such a risk. And we were so bold to take risk, and we have succeeded.
As they say,
we have developed.
Necessity is mother of all invention, so you've kind of proved this time and time and again. I know we have lots of questions, but then I think our time is up. But I want to ask you one last question before I let you go. You know, the India's growing space tech ecosystem broadly. How can companies in this room or academia, etc., how do they contribute or collaborate with you as ISRO? I know you collaborated a lot with the private sector. You said that about 90% of the funding actually is spent on private sector, etc. But what steps should, if the company aspire, we all have aspirations. We talked about space tech as one of the greatest opportunity for this industry. So when you look at space tech, and especially specifically to ISRO, what is the kind of participation that you would expect from an industry, from this industry, as well as academia?
See, there was a time the space activity was done purely by Indian Space Research Organization. But then, today I want to tell, right now we are having, till today, last 50 years, we have built 133 satellites and conceived and built, placed in the orbit. Right now, 56 satellites are in the orbit. And during Sindoor operation, our satellites worked perfectly well, I want to tell, perfectly well. Probably we don't talk too much outside, but it's perfectly well. And the need for the country is, at least in another 3 years, we have to make these numbers to, Honorable Prime Minister always used to tell, every year he wants 50 launches minimum. That means another 3 years, 155 satellites has to be built and it has to go. And this is the place the 2020, the space sector reform was announced. Space sector reform is nothing but allowing private sector to work on the space area and ISRO is going to handhold them. And today, I will tell you, 450 companies, private and public sector organizations are working for space. For example, whenever a PSLV is taking off, 80% of the budget is pumped in the industries. And it is not with ISRO. And day for yesterday, we had a major event. I don't know, you would have read in the newspaper. The recently developed small satellite launch vehicle, the entire technology was transferred to HAL for them to produce and this one. Now, what is required is a lot of people have to work in the space area for making satellites, making launch vehicles. More importantly, today we are having so much satellite data. Decipher the data and utilize for the common people. For example, I will tell you one application. You are from a village or city? Because the city man cannot understand a lot of things what you talk.
That is the problem. I'm a city man, so I can't understand anything these days. But
then a lot of other people will understand, so we'll talk to them. So, those farmers, if they have to go to bank and take some either insurance or some disaster time to get any benefit, releasing of the insurance, anything has to happen. Some time back, people have to go, then the bank officer have to come to the field. Immediately they will not come. They are all officers, and it will take its own time. Then they have to come and see, assess. But today, that is not the case. From the satellite data, you can process in front of the officers, you can demonstrate within few seconds and get out. So much wealth of data is there, somebody can concentrate and decipher and utilize for multiple purposes. And you are all very safe here, whether your properties are safe, whatever is there. The neighbor, whether he has moved 1 feet, 2 feet, how do you know? And this is the area, again, you can use. You can find out, okay, what is the border, whether area has more or less, everything. So like that, satellite utilization, data utilization is one area. And 10 years back, actually the entire credit should go to Honorable Prime Minister. I'm not talking anything else. And Prime Minister, he visioned and rolled out the space sector reform. Because when he was the even Gujarat CM, he understands application of space area, how much it can be useful. So when he became Prime Minister, he has done a lot of things, and this is one of the things. And 10 years back, hardly 3-4 startup companies were there. Today, 300 plus startup companies are working in all the areas. Launch vehicle building, satellite building, data deciphering and rolling out, and infrastructure build-up. So thereby, when we talk about a Viksit Bharat 2047, and if the India has to become a developed country, I want to summarize the entire space activities. The activity which started with the bullock cart and bicycle, by 2040, based on the direction and roadmap given by Honorable Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi ji, ISRO will be and India will be in par with any other spacefaring nation which was 70 years advanced to us. In par with them by 2040, in par in terms of launcher, in terms of satellite, in terms of application. In fact, our Honorable Minister of State, Jitendra Singh ji, a recent one of the meeting, I was also there, he told one thing. 2040, we are going to land on moon. And he made a very fantastic statement. He told, 2040, Indian will land on the moon with the Indian national flag and announce that, dear brothers, in another few years, India will become a developed country. This is what will be the announcement, which will be made from where? From moon, okay? And with Indian flag. And I am sure the type of space ecosystem what is growing, there are a lot of opportunities for the Indian industry, startup companies, and academia to contribute in multiple areas. When you talk about artificial intelligence, you talk about data management, you talk about quantum communication, you talk about interplanetary mission, you talk about application-oriented, you talk about food security area, you talk about water security. Every area you can contribute and contribute through the space program. And our Prime Minister used to make a very, very fantastic statement. There should not be any gap between space and common man of this country. And to do that, the industries can contribute in a very, very big way.
Dr. Narayanan, thank you so much. We could have asked a lot more questions. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Dr. Narayanan.
Thank you.
Chairman ISRO. Thank you so much. Really well. Lovely, lovely conversation. Really appreciate it.